Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. First, the headlines. The Sultanate moves towards space science and modern technology through promising future projects. The first international female tent pegging contest kicks off in the Wilaya of Qasab in the Governorate of Musandam. And the Turkish president vows to expand military operation towards the frontier with Iraq. Those were the headlines, and now for the news in detail. The Sultanate started its steps towards using modern technology to keep pace with international developments in the fields of science and energy. During the last period, the Sultanate witnessed the implementation of a number of projects in the public and private sectors. One of these projects is Mir'at, to generate steam by solar power, which Petroleum Development Oman works on Amal field for producing heavy gas. During this year, the second phase of this project will be inaugurated with a production capacity reaching 1,021 megawatt thermal energy, which will generate 600 tons of steam daily. Oil and Gas Research Center at Sultan Qaboos University innovated recently techniques which strengthen production of oil through microbes, which will make qualitative shift in the biotechnology. Another project is electricity charging points and the Far wind energy projects, which will generate electricity for around 16,000 houses. The Sultanate, in cooperation with a number of bodies concerned, works to launch the first Cube satellite to monitor light pollution, atmosphere and Omani environment. Governorate of the Far will witness in February Mars simulation experiment. This program is conducted in cooperation with Austrian Space Forum. The activities of the first international female contest for tent pegging kicked off today in the Wilaya of Qasab in the Governorate of Musandam. The competition, organized and supervised by the International Tent Pegging Federation, witnesses the participation of 6 teams: Jordan, Sudan, Australia, Egypt, South Africa and Oman. The 6 teams will compete for 3 golden medals in a 3-day event. As the activities of Muscat Festival 2018 kicked off, Royal Oman Police intensifies its patrol in various areas of the festival to ensure that things are going smoothly for the visitors at Al Nasim and Al Amrat parks and to strengthen security and safety there. Various formations of Royal Oman Police and Public Authority for Civil Defence exert continuous efforts to serve visitors of Muscat Festival through an awareness convoy to educate society members about the hazards of psychotropic substances. Royal Oman Police have police services tents in Muscat Festival, which is meant to guide and provide information that visitors need, as well as dealing with any emergency cases. The tent is also meant for acquainting the visitors with the services that ROP render to the public. With the aim of highlighting cooperation in various fields of the municipal sector and stemming from the importance of real partnership between the society and the municipal sector, Ibra municipality held a ceremony in the Governorate of North Sharqiya to mark the Gulf Day for Municipal Cooperation. The ceremony aimed to make cooperation and partnership with various society segments regarding implementation of municipal roles and legislations. It also included a number of work papers on the importance of municipal cooperation and sustainable development horizon. Dubai Mercantile Exchange stated that Oman oil price declined today by 71 cents and reached $67 and 39 cents for the barrel, compared to yesterday's price, which reached $68 and 10 cents per barrel. The average price of Oman oil February delivery reached $61 and 60 cents for the barrel, increasing by 81 cents compared to the price of January delivery. After 48 years since leaving the Sultanate, a Dutch citizen returned and presented his driving license, which he obtained in 1970 as a gift to the National Museum. The National Museum published the following story on its account on Facebook and Twitter, that a citizen from the Netherlands paid a visit to the museum and presented his driving license to the museum as a gift. The visitor expressed his impression of the development being witnessed by the Sultanate in all fields, especially the urban development under the wise leadership of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, the builder of the Omani Renaissance. Still to come in our news bulletin. The mascots with rugby ball-shaped faces are unveiled in Tokyo for the 2019 Rugby World Cup in Japan. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The US ambassador to the United Nations told the UN Security Council that comments made by Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas were not the speech of a person with the courage and the will to seek peace in the Middle East. Nikki Haley was speaking in reference to a statement made by Abbas earlier this month in which he declared the Oslo peace accords dead. Tensions over the Middle East rose further yesterday when US President Donald Trump threatened to withhold aid money from the Palestinians until they return to peace talks with Israel. Trump's decision late last year to recognize Jerusalem as the Israeli capital caused uproar amongst Palestinians who also claim rights over the ancient city. Nikolai Mladenov, the UN Special Coordinator for the peace process, said the current uncertainty and volatility surrounding the 25-year-old Oslo Agreement was sharpening divisions and creating a situation that plays directly into the hands of the extremists and increases the risk of another conflict. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan vowed today to expand Ankara's operation in a Kurdish enclave in northern Syria eastward toward the frontier with Iraq. His comments during an address to local leaders of his ruling party in Ankara appeared to be in defiance of the United States, which has urged Turkey to keep its campaign in Syria limited in scope and duration, and to focus on ending the war. Erdogan said the Turkish forces' push into Afrin would stretch further east to the Syrian Kurdish town of Manbij and toward the border with Iraq until no terrorist is left. Turkey considers the Syrian Kurdish forces known as the People's Protection Units, or YPG, as a terrorist group because of their purported links to Kurdish insurgents within Turkey's own border. Manbij is held by the Syrian Democratic Forces, which is dominated by the YPG. Ankara's push into Manbij would put Turkish troops in proximity to American soldiers there. A fire raced through a small South Korean hospital with no sprinkler system today, killing 37 people, many of them elderly, and injuring more than 140 others in the country's deadliest blaze in about a decade. Sejong Hospital in the southeastern city of Miryang has a separate nursing ward where 94 elderly patients were being treated, but all of them were safely evacuated. Most of the victims were on the first and second floors of the hospital's 6-story general ward, where its emergency room and intensive care unit were located. Officials believe the fire started in the emergency room. French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian called today for the full and complete application of international sanctions on North Korea as a priority, speaking in Tokyo alongside French Defense Minister Florence Parly and Japanese counterparts Foreign Minister Taro Kono and Defense Minister Itsunori Ondera. Le Drian said North Korea's nuclear and ballistic missile program threatened regional and international security. He said the goal of sanctions was to bring the Pyongyang regime to the negotiating table with a view to definitive, irreversible and verifiable dismantlement of its proliferation program. Le Drian also restated France's engagement in addressing global challenges such as the fight against terrorism, climate deregulation and the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, adding that his country favorably welcomed Japan's wish to play a bigger role in the international scene. Ren-G, the mascots for the 2019 Rugby World Cup in Japan, were unveiled in Tokyo today, where the lion-like duo, which feature rugby ball-shaped faces, showed off their rugby passing and try-scoring skills. Ren with white hair is a parent and G with red hair is a child. The parent-child pairs are designed in the motif of two mythical lion-like creatures that were believed in ancient Japan to chase away evil and bring happiness. Similar depictions often appeared in traditional Japanese theatre as father and son pairings, even though Ren and G are genderless. Paris authorities have closed several tunnels, parks and the bottom floor of Louvre Museum as the Seine River swells and the city braces for floods. Exceptionally heavy rains have forced evacuations from homes elsewhere on the Seine after it and another river burst their banks. The Seine reached over 18 feet yesterday evening at the Austerlitz Bridge in eastern Paris. It was expected to keep rising, reaching a peak above 20 feet over the weekend. Meteorological authorities said rainfall in Paris has been twice as high as normal. The lower level of the Louvre is closed to the public until at least Sunday, but the museum did not have plans to move artworks as it was forced to during exceptional flooding in 2016. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Sultanate moves towards space science and modern technology through promising future projects. The first international female tent pegging contest kicks off in the Wilaya of Qasab in the Governorate of Musandam. And the Turkish president vows to expand military operation towards the frontier with Iraq. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.